Hi, everyone. My name is Kiki, and I'm here with Lora Ulrich.
Correct.
Yeah, got it. And I'm really excited for our talk today. So this is How You Wellpreneur, and Lora is someone that's so perfect to lead this conversation. So we are going to be talking about how to create passive revenue for your business long after, a program has ended, let's say. So first things first, let me introduce the wonderful Lora so that you guys know why she's so amazing. So as an international lifestyle coach, certified nutrition and wellness expert, speaker, and entrepreneur, Lora knows firsthand the importance of living a healthy lifestyle. So for over 20 years, Lora has been working with individuals and groups to help them crack the code to living a healthy lifestyle and loving their body by focusing on nutrition, wellness, and mindset. Thousands have had success using her programs, which include the Love Your Body Challenge, the New You Lifestyle Academy, How to Make Whole Food, Plant-Based Diet Work for You, and How to Create Passive Revenue to Your Business long after your clients have completed their programs, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So thank you so much, Lora, for taking the time.
You're so welcome. Thank you for inviting me. This will be fun.
Of course. So let's dive straight into the first topic. If you don't mind, actually, for people watching that might not even know what passive income means,
Sure.
Could you kind of give a summary of what it is that we want to create, and then we can talk about how we create it?
Absolutely. Passive income, I think the easiest way nowadays to talk about is like, let's say you wrote a book, right? It takes you X amount of time to write that book. And then every time somebody buys it, you're going to get a piece of income from them purchasing it. You don't have to keep writing it, right? That same book just keeps selling and selling, hopefully, right? That's the goal, to keep selling. And then every time it does, you get a piece.
And it's definitely of value for nutritionists that I talk with and dietitians that come on board that, they are working with a select number of clients, but they seem to be putting so much time and energy into just working, hand to hand, direct combat kind of thing with these clients. And they're creating all of these materials. I often encourage them, what about, great, keep working with your clients if that's what's serving you and your business. But what about repurposing those materials that you're creating into programs that you can then sort of scale? So can you talk a little bit about that process, because that's very new to a lot of people. So can you talk about, that process and sort of what a program might look like for you?
Sure. So before I also started doing business online, I was doing individual and group programs, right? And I also find a lot of wellness practitioners are even confused about, well, now we have to design a whole new group program. You really don't. Whatever is working with your individual client is going to work with your groups, right? And so you just take that, because think about it. If you've got an individual client that you're charging, I don't know, what are the typical people in your circle charge per client?
I mean, like a session could be from $100 to $150.
Okay, so they're charging $100 to $150 for one person for an hour, right? Well, what if you decided to do a group program using the same curriculum that you're doing with your individual people, do say a 4-week group program. Now you're charging the individual, say $247, $297, whatever you're comfortable. And by the way, one of my mentors taught me, make sure that you're charging something that you feel a little uncomfortable for, because all of us practitioners undercharge for our value and our service, because we provide so much more than just that hourly session, right? So now let's say you had 10 people in the group, or let's say you even only had 5 people in the group, and 5 people are paying $300, just say, round up. That's $1,500 for 4 sessions. Versus your 150 times 4 would be 600, right? So that's one way to scale. And then when you take that group program, you've got your program, whether it's individual or group, doesn't matter really. And now you put it out there online. What you do is you record your sessions. So like what you said, you can repurpose them So now you've got your whole, let's say a 4-week program recorded, whether you're doing it in person or through Zoom, right? Or both, because there's lots of times that I've done in-person people combined with online, because let's face it, we are not limited to location. So we can expand our horizons and have the opportunity to reach even more people. So now you've got those recordings from those 4 sessions. You put it, up pretty, doesn't have to be that pretty, but you put it pretty up on the internet, you have a sales page, and you drive people to that sales page, and they're getting the recorded program that you can sell. You can either, I've done it 2 ways, and I continue to do it 2 ways. There are some times where I do a live one, right, where people online also get me live. And then there are times during the year that I just promote it, the program online, so that people are doing a self-directed program, right? The content's already done. So recordings are already there, the content's already there, the files are already uploaded, and people just go through it. And so this way you can repurpose your goodness and then continue to generate revenue from the time that you put into that. That make sense?
Totally.
Yeah.
And do you have any tips around, a lot of people say, oh, I need to create like a Facebook group, or how am I going to distribute the drip content through like marketing automation or email automation? Do you have any tips around, using different tools? Obviously, Meal Garden is one of them, because
Obviously, because hello, it's already done for us. You can go in there and search and have your meals. Ta-da! Remind me to circle back to that, because that's another way to create passive income too.
Perfect.
So I'll just do it right now. Just selling meal plans, right? You can go out, you can sell meal plans, and you can have as many meal plans as you want, and that's another way to be generating some passive income. Okay, so let's not let technology scare us, because I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't have, a big membership site and a fabulous website. Doesn't matter. Even before you have a website, you can literally have, you can use Stripe or Square to sell your program, and then you can just email it to people. Whatever email, program you want to use, whether it's Aweber or ConvertKit or whatever it is that you're using, there are some simple ways for you to do that. You literally just go into those programs and you say, okay, email number 1 on this day, email number 2 on that day. And so without even having an online group or a membership site on a website, you can literally just sell a program and then have the automated email sent to people. Nowadays, people really are using, I included, am using the Facebook groups, because while we have them and they're free to be able to use it, it's a great place, excuse me, to dump our clients into that group, and then all the content is there.
Yeah.
Whether you want to have all the content there, or making sure that you're dripping it out, only letting them see week 1 on week 1 and then week 2, that's another way, and then next level, you can have a membership site on your website where everything is uploaded into your own space on your website, where you have full control of whether they see the whole program or they see the program at specific times.
Now, a more specific question, do you recommend doing something that is more evergreen and people can do it and kind of follow it at their own, kind of on their own schedule, versus doing something that's almost a little bit more live, like, okay, we're in week 2 and therefore everyone has to be in week 2? And then I guess the follow-on question to that is, can you even do both at the same time? Like, wouldn't that be really confusing to organize? What are your thoughts around those 2 elements?
Great question. And I think, how there's different personality types, right? Some people want to be around a group of people. There's value and benefit in that. Some people want to stay anonymous, which is why they like online. And so why not, instead of limiting ourselves to people, why not open it up to whatever personality type? So 4 times a year, I do a live group online program where they actually get me live. And then in addition, when it's not those 4 times of the year, people can buy the self-directed. That's where they go through it individually. And they have access to me in the Facebook group or by email to ask me questions. It's really not difficult, because when you're doing things like that, when you have it scheduled, like I have my live ones, 4 times a year, The people that have graduated, I allow them to stay in the group, because then they can hang around and see what's going on, because if they get more value and get more results, they're going to want to stay around my campfire. Perhaps they're also going to want to buy more services or products from me. And who are they then going to recommend?
Makes sense. And you touched on something when you were chatting earlier around pricing, because that's a question that I get all the time. People come in, they see all the meal plans, they're like, oh my God, this is great. I'm going to put together this, or I'm going to use this and pair it with that. They're like, Kiki, so what's your recommendation for pricing? Like, what are the other practitioners pricing? And I always tell them, like, oh my God, it's so varied. What do I tell them? Like, do I tell them how, Christine is charging $10 and then Bill is charging $300 for basically the same thing? So what is your take around pricing?
Well, like I had mentioned, I really think that it's a good idea to charge just above what you feel comfortable with. Mm-hmm. Because we really do undervalue ourselves. A lot of practitioners, I think probably most coaches I know, even not in the nutrition space, because I know a lot of coaches online, people really undervalue themselves. And then once you start seeing and believing and getting the confidence, that abundance mindset, that abundant mentality, that you're providing a service, you need to get paid for that. Yeah. That's the way it works. That's a good thing, because the more money we make, the more then we can offer and be of service to other people. Yeah. Instead of being stressed about, oh my gosh, how many clients do I have? Do I have enough money? Yeah. Right? Be able to give that value and also be offering free value to get people around your campfire as well. Yeah. So, I think charge over what you're comfortable with. And the first time you step through that comfort zone, you'll be able to charge more. Because a coach of mine, I think it was about 2 or 3 years ago, I was at the $150 an hour mark. And he was like, why? You've been doing this for how many years, right? And so I literally almost doubled it. Wow. The first time I did it, I was like, oh no. And then afterwards, I was like, yeah, no problem. That's the way it is. And that's going to knock out, that's going to narrow the people that are going to be able to afford your services individually. But then that's where the group program comes out, right? So if I'm charging $250 an hour for a private client, and it's really not even a whole hour, but a session, right? That's a particular group of people. But guess what? The more people pay, the more they're really going to put into them doing the work, I have found, because it's more value to them, right? So you've got the people that are paying that. Then you've got a different group of people that are paying $297 for a 4-week program rather than $100, right, for 4 weeks. And then you've got other people that are paying $27 a month so they can have access to your private wellness group, which, they get 1 meal plan a month or a week, right? So that you're able to attract people in all different areas, and then making sure that they know that there could be a next step for those that want to dive deeper.
Yeah. And now you say attracting people. I know professionals watching this are going to be like, oh, but I don't have, how would I market it? Like, no one comes to my website. Maybe they don't even have a website yet. Obviously, you have quite a big following. So it's easy for you to say, I'm going to do 4 programs a year. But what are people that are just coming in and want to launch their very first program? What are your tips around marketing?
Great question, because I used to say the same thing. How did I start out? I didn't start out with all of a sudden those people there, right? I had to start out just like when we're babies. We take one step at a time. It's so funny, but one of the things that I wanted to talk about was addressing the abundance mindset and not having compare-itis, because comparison is so the thief of joy. That's like the devil. And I fall into that too, because there are people that I look up to that are my mentors, whether I've met them live or not. And I'm like, oh my gosh, but they're doing this. Hello, they put in how many years of work, right? One of my coaches, I just heard him talking today, he was doing a video. He said, yeah, because he's doing a 14-day marketing challenge, right? And people are like, yeah, easy for you to say. Yeah, easy. I've been doing daily videos for 9 years, he said. Yeah. Right? So really, how do you build your following? Do we want to just talk about online, like on social? Because people don't know your website is there. It's like, it would be fabulous if you just put your website out there and all of a sudden everybody knew. Hey guys. Like people are knocking on our door at our house going, excuse me, do you have nutrition counseling, or do you have a meal plan for me? So basically you just go out there and you start providing value, whether you're going to be blogging, whether you're going to be posting things, putting up inspiration, doing videos. People love videos. So they feel like they really know you better. One thing I want to counsel people on though, especially if you're starting or if you're a veteran, Facebook is really easy to get, I want to say like, I don't want to say sucked into, but Facebook is so easy to just throw your content up there, right? But we don't own anything that's on Facebook. And Facebook you could lose your account in a minute. They could change algorithms in a minute, which they do all the time. They could, whatever. Like if we're just posting everything online on Facebook or even on Instagram, and we don't also have that content somewhere else, then everything is gone, and then you're not able to repurpose it, right? So whenever I do a video, I will then post it also on my YouTube channel, and I'll also download, I'm like old school, I'll download it on my computer. How can I repurpose that in another fashion? So basically, to make a long story short, start providing free content.
Yeah.
Your authentic self. Don't compare yourself. Don't think you need to be like so-and-so. Put who you are out there, and you will start attracting your tribe. And your tribe will then start sharing it with their tribe.
Oh, I love it. And so that totally beautifully segues into, you've already touched on it quite a bit, mindset. So already you've mentioned, calling in abundance. And then you've also mentioned to not compare yourself to others. Is there anything that you want to touch on either on those or another kind of a tip you have around really honing in your mindset for abundance? And, speaking to the practitioner that just wants to start their program, but they're just graduated, what do they need to know in terms of how they pattern their brain?
I think the other thing that I would talk about is really work on believing that you have value. It doesn't matter that you got in trouble 3 years ago because you were still living at home, whatever. I'm 52 years old. I actually like to tease my clients. I'm like, this nutrition thing works. I'm really 85. But I'm 52 years old and I still have baggage that—
I'm 54. Yeah, no,
I still have baggage that comes up and tries to, be the devil and remind me of something that happened in my 20s. Like, it doesn't matter. Really working on believing that you have value regardless of where you're starting, and that you're fabulous. You're a fabulous, beautiful, I don't know if we're talking all women, if there's also guys, you're handsome, right? Smart, fabulous, handsome, and you have value, even if your family is not listening, because family is the hardest. They're like the hardest clients to convert. Yeah. So really having that belief, let me see, I wrote down a few little things. Being thankful and having gratitude. Really focusing on what are you thankful for that day, even if it's, the sun was shining. It doesn't have to be this big elaborate thing. And being grateful for what we do have. That really shifts our mindset to focus on the half full rather than the half empty.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's that saying, I think it's energy or your mind goes where the energy flows, right?
Yeah. So one of my sticky notes on my laptop, excuse me, I attract more of what I think about and act upon.
Oh, I love it.
Right?
I'm open to abundance. I'm open to the gifts that the universe wants to give me.
Totally. And then this way we can really be of service to our people, right? It's funny because I hear clients talk a lot. They tell me a lot that my tone and the way I talk changes if I'm talking nutrition and wellness or if I'm talking business. Because I have clients on both ends, right? I also teach wellness practitioners how to expand their business. And so I'm more nurturing and caretaking when I'm talking about nutrition and wellness and mindset and meditation. And I'm more, like a matter of fact, still in a caring way, but the tone is a little bit more, I don't even know what the word is, but they can tell I'm not as, lovey-dovey and caretaking when I'm talking about the business, right? And I love to service people and make sure that they're reaching the goals that they need. But we need to make sure that we're generating that revenue so that you can stay in the field that you want. You know, I've met, let me see, probably in the past 2 months, I know of 3 wellness practitioners that went back to work doing something outside the wellness industry because they weren't making the money that they needed to pay their bills.
Yeah.
You know, but they, if they would have been able to learn some different tricks and tips and strategies on how to build their business and expand their prospects, right? Expand their following, their tribe, and making sure to be talking to them and letting them know that there is another way for you to dive deeper. You know, I'll put out a free video. It'll be 3 to 5 minutes worth of free value and content on how, you know, to improve their gut health, whatever. But then at the end, I'll do a call to action and say, hey, for those of you that are interested in diving deeper, I also have a 4-week challenge that's coming up, or, you know, I do private coaching, or I also have the, you know, I'll let you know, how do I say it? Oh, I can hook you up with the wellness products and the supplements and the digestive enzymes that I take, and you can get them at wholesale.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can always be making sure, because we don't want to have anything be on an island and then people think that's it, there's nowhere else to go. Yeah. Always be able to offer them the next step for those that do want to dive deeper.
And you mentioned a good point that, you know, there's so many people out there doing this, and that can be really discouraging for people, because it's like, oh my God, well, yes, I love gut health and I'm an expert on gut health, but there's a billion people on as an expert on gut health. So why would people listen to me? And I get this question a lot when it comes to recipes. People freak out that they're like, oh, if my clients join Meal Garden, they're going to see everyone else's recipes, or like, can they get access to other recipes? And it's like, okay, yeah, but anyone can Google a recipe. It's the value is that it's yours, right?
Yep. They're buying you. They're not buying the it. Just like when we're selling, we're not selling the meal plan, we're selling what the meal plan does for them.
Exactly.
It's the benefit and the value. So that's the, you know, the being able to switch the mindset from lack mentality. You know, if someone is going to see something else or see someone else and then, like, you know, the next shiny penny and go away, they're not really your tribe anyway. So we kind of have to go with that flow. Yes, it's upsetting if somebody leaves, but you know, if that person leaves and they weren't meant to be with you, that leaves space for the people that are supposed to be with you to begin with.
And that makes me think of something that we didn't necessarily prep for, but I'm going to throw it at you. What
Sure.
about towards the end of the program, any tips in terms of kind of gaining feedback from people, like how to reiterate those programs, and as well, like how to follow up with people? Okay, so now the 4-week program is done. Now is it just a matter of like, okay, so that was, you know,
that was fun. See you later, right? That's
where
the Facebook groups really come in handy. Like I said, I keep people in there. I don't start a new Facebook group for every 4-week challenge. It's the same Facebook group. So people are in there still receiving content for those that want to stay. And so once they're keeping in mind that to keep them around your campfire. And so then, like, you know, in that Facebook group, I also do Fave Product Fridays. So I post my favorite product, which, yes, I sell, and people can get it for wholesale directly from the company. So that's another way. They're already done with their programs. They're sticking around getting free content because they're not going anywhere. But then, hey, now that I've posted my probiotics, maybe they're going to buy my probiotics. And then once they can get on the auto order for probiotics. I don't know why we're talking about gut health, but that's on top of my mind lately.
I mean, it's on top of everyone's. Yeah.
I know, right? Gut health. And so they're going to be continuing to buy the probiotics month after month. And every time they buy that probiotic, I get a little piece, kind of like that book. They're buying it directly from the company. The company is drop shipping it directly to them. They're paying the same price I pay, but yet I'm still going to continue generating revenue. Yeah. Just like maybe then if they're in there, maybe they'll see when I promote that I also have a different Facebook group that's $27 a month, that they'll get, you know, X amount of many, you know, meal plans. Oh, you know, I'll put one meal plan in there a week, and it's $27 a month for them to stay in there. So I post one meal plan a week in there, and maybe one, Facebook Live training.
Yeah.
So those are other ways to keep people around the campfire and ways to continue generating revenue when they're already done. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with asking people if they want to continue, right? I actually have a live group of people that I go to the city, the city that I live in, the city employees, and I happen to do a free workshop for them. That was my advertising dollars at work, right? I went in, I did a free workshop for them, and then I asked the HR person if they wanted me to offer my 4-week group coaching program that I do specifically only to their employees. And because I already knew their personality type, I knew they would want me to go there. I said, and I'll come on a lunch hour on, whatever day of the week is going to work. And so we're on week 3. I'm absolutely going to ask them, hey, do you ladies want to continue on for another 4 weeks?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not, they may not be done in 4 weeks.
Yeah. So I love that. So really what I'm hearing is, in terms of how to start, it's offering that value for free. It's being able to provide that value for people, but then having the call to action, having the real guts, and this comes from, mindset as well,
yes.
to actually ask for the sale, whether it's online, whether it's the in-person.
Yeah. Here's a good, I think, mindset tip for that, because I know a lot of people that are nervous in the beginning, right? They provide the value, they create the relationships, and then they're afraid to ask for the sale.
They don't want to seem pushy. They don't want to seem salesy.
How is it pushy? If you don't ask for the sale, you're not going to be able to serve them. Because let's face it, they're not really going to get all of the value that they need. They're not going to reach their goals from being able to piecemeal the free value that you put out there. I mean, look at how many people are out there putting content into the world, and how many people are still suffering, right? And need what you have. And this, like I said, make sure to be authentic. But asking for the sale is offering more services to help them reach their goal. If you want to help them reach their goal, help them.
Look at it like you're taking something from them, you're offering something.
Absolutely. The more you think you're taking from them, the harder it is for you to ask for the sale. Once you start believing that you're really serving them, yes, you're selling to them, but what you're selling them is going to serve them. If you're servicing them, then there's no problem. It's like, hey, are you ready to continue? Are you ready to go on? Whatever it is that we're talking about, as far as being able to ask for the sale. Absolutely be confident in asking for that sale, because then you're going to be able to provide even more value to that person.
I love it. All of this content has been amazing. Lora, there is one more quick thing. We have only 2 minutes left, but we did mention that we talk about, healthy you, healthy bottom line. Is there any, maybe just one tip or something to make sure that our practitioners and our professionals are actually taking care of themselves? Because sometimes it's they're creating meal plans for others, but then we can forget about ourselves.
Yeah, and that is such an easy trap to fall into. Okay, the old analogy, you're on an airplane. When the oxygen mask comes down on the airplane, you have to put it on yourself first, because if you can't breathe, you're not helping your baby, right? We really need to practice the self-care and self-love that we are preaching. Otherwise, we will not be able to continue to give. So basics, make sure you're drinking your water, enough water all throughout the day. Don't be like my husband and chug a 16-ounce bottle of water. The water, schedule your alarm to go off on your phone to remind you to eat. And then make sure to always prepare and plan so that you have your meals and snacks ready. And here's what I tell people too. I do this all the time. I also prepare and plan for when I have run out of foods that I prepare and plan. So I prepare and plan for the quick, healthy, fast stuff. Like, for example, an English cucumber and some hummus. That's what my lunch is going to be today, because I already ran out of the foods that I prepared until I make, another big thing of whatever. So it's really, really important to practice what we preach. Otherwise, when we start looking, if we don't look like what people want to buy, why are they going to work with us?
Exactly. It comes back to authenticity, right?
Totally. So important.
Well, you've sold me. I mean, I want to work with you, Laura, at this point.
Thank you, Kiki.
Ends of the spectrum. So for those people that want to get in touch with you or follow you, whether as a client, as as an individual client or as a professional, how can we stay in touch?
Absolutely. You can email me at Lora, it's spelled Lora, at thenewyoulifestyle.com. And on Facebook or Instagram, I'm also Lora Ulrich. And one of my free wellness Facebook groups that I have is called the New You Lifestyle Academy. So you can search for that on Facebook. I'd be more than happy to have you in there. And here's a tip too, for those, and I know we're running out of time, for those of you that have the free wellness Facebook groups, if you want to start or you already have it, make sure to have questions before people are allowed to come in. One of the questions that I ask them is, what's your email address? Because if that Facebook group disappears, I think I have like 284 people in there right now. If that disappeared, all those people are gone, right? So I have everybody's email address, which I then put into my email database. And then I make sure to send, a couple of emails a month as well, just to keep them in my, keep them around my campfire.
Perfect. I'm joining that right now.
newyoulifestyle.com. Oh no, that's my website.
That's a New You Lifestyle Academy.
That's the one on Facebook.
Perfect. And I'll put those links in when I post this. So
thank you so much.
Chat to you again soon.
Bye-bye. Have a great day.
You too.